everybody. I am excited to be back after a week of spring break where I got to have my mom visit and we traveled to the San Juan Islands off the coast of Washington for a couple days and thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. And I got to watch that a lot of you were thoroughly enjoying learning about the W and 2. So I wanted to talk about some other categories of letters that don't spell sound. Beyond marking history, some are silent in certain members of a family, but they get pronounced in others, and these are called zero allophones. The concept of a zero allophone is powerful. I think it's probably more powerful than even etymological markers, but we don't have to rank them. It's not a competition. But kids, people learning that sometimes a letter doesn't spell a sound in certain members of the family but does in others gives them an anchor for that spelling. It helps the spelling make sense, it helps the spelling be remembered, and it's really beautiful to tie all the words together this way. So to understand a little bit more about what an allophone is, you need to understand the difference between a phone and a phoneme. And this can get a little bit tricky. The glossary in my word study guide defines phoneme and contrasts it with phone a little bit. I don't talk about allophone in there, but allophones are versions of a phoneme that don't change the meaning for a certain language. So in English, we have lots of different versions of the sound we might most represent with a P, with the letter P, and you can tell the difference in some of these just by putting your hand in front of your face, like spin and pin. When we say pin, we release air. It's called an aspirated P, and that's a different phone. That's a different sound than the P in spin. And even that P that I'm saying is different than the one in spin. So these get transcribed differently. If you were doing phonetic transcription, there's all sorts of diacritics to mark these different allophones. And sometimes it's a completely different phone. Like in butter, I have a flap sound there. It's not a T. I'm not saying butter, butter. That flap sound is, or the phone that's called a flap, is an allophone for the phoneme T. Okay, we don't have different words in English. The meaning doesn't change when there's a flap sound. We either assign it to a T or a D. And often in our mind, we're picturing T or D if you're associating a grapheme with that sound. The phonemes are the broader categories, so one phoneme might have 5 different allophones. The zero allophone is a zeroed out, unpronounced phone for a phoneme. So we can have zero allophones of any phoneme, like the G in signature, that G sound is getting zeroed out in sign and in design. So today I want to look at this in the word ocean. If we look at ocean, O-C-E-A-N, many people are going to assume that the EA in ocean is a digraph, that EA is working together to spell one sound. Looking at a word family and this idea that we cannot understand a word's spelling until we look at its family, we see some words pop up in this family that we would expect, like oceans. We can certainly have more than one ocean. Someone can be oceans away. And we have really cool complex constructions like oceanography, oceanographers, something being ocean going, an ocean going vessel. There's all sorts of words we can build with this. But we see a few like oceanic and oceania, in which something different is happening with that E and the A. If we go from ocean to oceanic, we now hear oceanic. There's 2 different vowel sounds there with that E and the A. and oceanic that we don't hear with ocean. And that lets us know that the EA is not a digraph. Those are separate graphemes, and in ocean, one's getting zeroed out. It's a zero allophone. This is so cool for kids to learn about. It's like the G in sign. The spelling of sign doesn't make sense if we don't understand that. Why is there a G in that? It has nothing to do with the sounds of the word sign. So looking at a word's family is often the only way we can make sense of the spelling. I am giving out a free guide to word study, and you can get that by going to any of my bios. There's a link. You do have to double opt in. I'm not letting bots subscribe people to this. So you put your email in, you'll get an email from me, and you need to sign up through that email, or else you're not going to get the word study guide or the activities that I'm giving out. I'm sending out almost weekly activities, some with matrices. I've done a crossword puzzle, I've done a word fill-in. There's going to be different things that are for lots of different age groups and abilities, so complexity will vary, but you can take everything, customize it for yourself. In the PDF for the word ocean and word study of that, I give you a bunch of different ideas, ways you can dive deeper. You can look at what the C is doing. Different dialects pronounce that differently. You can think of other words that where a C spells something similar. Do you know of any other words besides ocean where a C spells sh? That can help anchor that spelling for kids so they won't spell it with an SH. Remind them C can spell sh. It's not just SH, and here's some words we see that in. So make sure you're signed up for my activities and you'll get all of those. You'll get a matrix, you'll get a map that can be labeled. Yeah, sign up and share this, spread the word. I did a little Instagram reel with the W and 2 based off my full video. It's been viewed over 1,000 times last I checked, and I know that's not a huge number for the internet, but people are commenting and sending me messages, and when you first learn these things, it's so cool. And I think for some of us who've been in this a while, we forget how fun it is. So please spread the word. I am giving out free resources. I want people to have access to this information, and whether your kid has dyslexia or not, it's really great for kids to know about this stuff. It's really empowering. It makes language so much more interesting. Some of this can be a fuel for a 5-minute dinner conversation. Do you know why there's a G in sign? Do you know why there's a W in 2? Do you know what the EA is doing in ocean? I don't know about you, but that's the kind of dinner table conversation I want to have. Please do feel free to spread all these resources around. You can send the link to sign up for my guide. Also, if you have any questions about the resources, I've said this in my email that I've sent out. I really view this as a collaboration. I know my own understanding is growing. I welcome feedback. If there's things that would take what I'm making, take it from like an 8 to a 10 in your book where, oh my gosh, I would love it so much if it was this. Please let me know. I really want these to be used. I want them to work for you. That's it. All right. Thanks.